Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, race fan, Blitz time here tonight. Sim Racing Association. We got Charlotte. Kind of a medium-sized big track. 1.5 mile qualifying underway right here. And after tonight, guess we're one more race and we're crowning a champ here in the Blitz series. Ought to be exciting. Stay tuned. We got qualifying. Gather in. Let's see who you got as your drivers out here. It'd be good. All right, here we go, folks. Still got qualifying underway, and right now, like old Michael G, gonna put it up top here for the moment. Paul Witt. Well, last week he had a thriller, heck of an ending on a race there. Guys went 3 wide or so. That was a wild pack style race, but we got Charlotte tonight. Should be a little bit more spread out, hopefully, on this track. It's in my backyard, so I'm going to say on the trucks that they get a long green flag, yeah, they're going to get spread out. The starts are probably going to be what's going crazy.
Yeah, the starts can get pretty bottlenecked, especially being the narrowest mile and a half on the schedule or on the circuit. Joe, any league or series that tours here, it is the narrowest mile and a half that you go to. So a lot narrower than Atlanta last week, but like you said, it should get kind of filtered out, and you will see the cream rice at the top, as they say.
And probably not as smooth as Atlanta was last.
Oh, no, because 3 and 4, you definitely have the tunnel turn bump there in turn number 4. And then there is a bump in the transition from 1 to 2 in the middle of 1 and 2. You got to be careful. Charlotte is a bumpy track now, so.
Oh, yeah. Grid them up right fast. Let's look at it. Like I say, Michael G's going to put it up front there with Paul Witt. We got Aaron Raymond going to start 3rd. Chris Melton up there in the 4th. Got Michael Campbell there in the 5th. Zane Bailey, he's going up in 6th. Thomas Lane, good start for him there in 7th. Brandon McCullen, he's 8th. John Holiday, which if you check him out on Twitch, is Doc Holiday, by the way. If you want to get a front row view of what the driver is. That's a good one. He's going to start it in 9th. And in 10th place, got Mike Allen. As we look through the rest of this field, it's got 18 drivers out here. About to do some battle here at Charlotte tonight. Ought to be a good one.
Doc Holliday, I used to race with a handful of these guys on the Xbox side of things, Joe, and man, they were fierce competitors over there, and they are over here as well. So,
absolutely.
Doc Holliday, one of them.
I like the Charlotte. Charlotte's one of my favorite tracks. Obviously, it's my home track here. It's about 50 minutes away from where it's at. It's in the middle. Actually, not Charlotte. It's Concord. It sits right on the line between Concord and Charlotte. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the reason they call it Charlotte is because the track actually sits. Part of it sits in Charlotte, part of it sits in Concord. I could be mistaken on that. I know the road that it's on is right there at it. Now, obviously, it's a big complex. You know, they've got the track. Across the street, you got the dirt track, and then they got the full wide drag strip, which I remember when they built that. Wasn't always there. And then recently they got just sold the little asphalt kind of triangle stuff.
I got to go to the 600 weekend 2 years ago, and the race that Busher barrel rolled on the front straightaway, late in the race. I attended that 600. Great race weekend it was. Unfortunately, Denny Hamlin, if you are Denny Hamlin fans, that was great for you guys, but not for me. I'm not a Denny fan. But we're rolling to the restart, to the initial start of this race here, Joe.
Absolutely. Pace trucks in, about to go green here under the lights. Charlotte tonight here for the Blitz Series. After tonight, got one race to go. We'll crown a Blitz Series champ. They'll take a little bit of breather, man, on the trucks. Kick it back up 2025. They have a little mini stock series going to start it out, though. Meanwhile, 2x2, we said the starts were going to be wild. You can get tight coming off these turns a little bit here, especially coming off of 4-2. You maybe can swing a little loose, but I'm going to say that inside groove and probably maybe the middle grooves where you're going to have to be, I'll have to see. The temper, track temper that they did, we got a truck going around in the back there. That is Wilbur's. And if he comes back up on track, he might get it going before caution comes out. Yep, he got it going. Good job. But we'll go back and watch this. I think he just lost it coming out of the turn. We'll see. Contact.
Oh, contact. Yeah.
Looked like got
that's
a little
easy
bit,
to do.
Yeah, it looked like got a little loose tight maybe there, and just got a little contact. And
yeah, he was almost in the middle of a 3-wide situation, and once you're, like we discussed last week at Atlanta, the air plays a lot to do with that. So, especially coming out of turn 4 like that, how you funnel onto the straightaway. So, Yeah, you're going to have some guys kind of not go all the way to the wall. Some are going to kind of sidestep to kind of just avoid that half a lane, so to speak, to the wall on corner exit if they're on the high line.
You see right there, though, you can get so tight coming out of 4, man. He pushed straight up, our Paul Witt did, to the wall. This is a momentum style based track. You don't use a lot of brakes going into the turn here, so that's where you're going to lose a lot of your position. Again, a lot of things have changed since the last time I've raced here on iRacing, which has been years and years and years ago. They have what they call a temper heating of the track, where it's almost like real style, different sections of the track heats up, so you got to kind of search around where the grip is now. That's why you see some tracks here that used to be topside dominant. Bristol comes to mind, and we just did. Used to just be you'd go up to the top. When it was way back in the old day, it was the bottom, but then it kind of migrated to the top. Now you can kind of use the bottom, middle, and the top. So it kind of changed a little bit.
And in a way, that's kind of what you see here. How you enter turn 3 and how you exit turn 4 is the speed you will be carrying down the front straightaway to get yourself into turn 1 and down the back straightaway again, and keep repeating that same way. But 1 and 2, these truckers might be able to go full throttle through 1 and 2, and 3 and 4, it is there's a good catch. There's a line right before you go into turn 3 that a lot of drivers will start lifting, or maybe they will drag your brake, so to speak. That old racers saying, I'm trail braking into the corner. So that's what a lot of drivers will do going into turn 3 to get their race car to, as that old saying goes, plant the nose. Good battle here for the lead.
Yeah, it is. You got Raymond, man, G right there side by side with each other. You can see the truck's just getting a little wiggly, man, coming out of the turn. That's that tight feeling that you got. You don't want to pull down too heavy on it. And you brought up that, like you said, with the trail brake, and obviously wide open. This track, it caters more to an aggressive driving style. If you are too conservative here, you're going to fall behind. Now, true, by the time pit stops come around, you're probably catching back up. But let's take, for instance, if you're back here, I'm going to say even 10th place spot where Blaze is, because you're not going to see too many guys just come balling through the front of the field. This is just one of these kind of real even style track. I use Alder Club as a reference to it. But you're back here in the back. If you're too conservative, by the time that you are able to get momentum going, it's going to be pit stop time again. Well, guess what? Those guys that were fast up front, they're going to be fast again. So it really is one of those tracks where you've got to be kind of aggressive and conservative, but you really have got to get what you can get on the restarts, because it will kind of single file like it is here. And then at that point, yeah, you'll see a guy maybe pick off a truck here and there, but you're just not going to see anybody come from 14th all the way up to 2nd within, 5 laps. Not at this track, unless he's got like 50 lap newer tires or something.
Yes, exactly. Unless you have newer tires here, you're basically going to get put into a situation to where everybody's is going to equalize out around you, and you're going to get, in a way, stuck in a rut, and you're not going to be able to close up on anybody. Like, I do agree with you to a certain extent. You have to be aggressive around here to a certain degree, but you still need to conserve a little bit of tire life as much as you can. There are a lot of people here that can be fast all the way through the run, right, from the drop of the green till they need to pit. And others, at like a lot of other tracks, they just have about 8 to maybe 15 lap short run speed, and then they plateau. They drop off that cliff. You never see them again. So
right, and that's what I was referring to.
Oh,
the sad
yes, sir.
part about this track is Well, we talked about it before the race. We're looking at, what, 25, maybe 28 laps, pit stops?
Yes, sir.
Somewhere in that area. So if you are a guy that falls off at lap 15, 18, you've only got 10 laps there of the other guy that might be conservative to catch you. That's not what you want to do. He caught the
Raymond
apron
hit
and
the
then
AP.
shoved it up the track. Ouch.
Yes, sir. Thank you for saying that with me, because he got those left sides below that blue line. That is the white striped line that signifies, the racetrack to the apron there. Like you said, he just straddled that too far below with his left sides. Now, there are certain tracks where you can put your left sides on that paint, get the truck or car to turn with you, for you, a little bit extra, because paint can be a bit slippery, can be a bit slick. But, Raymond
got tight
tags
right there.
the wall. Dirty air.
And that's a good point you brought up right there, one track, because we just left that one track that it used to be that way on the old Cup cars, Atlanta, where you would drive those tires right there on the line, almost to the point of going up underneath like he did. Kevin Harvick was one of the ones that comes to mind that would really be able to do that. But now the new Cup car, you don't really see a lot of that much. I mean, yeah, they'll put them down there, but that car's so aero dependent now, it's playing it anyways. But we're talking about the old style where you're loose and loose. Those guys, man, would run the rim right down there on the bottom. But you can already see Raymond, by doing what he did, has probably hurt those tires, burned them up a little bit, and that thing's becoming awful tight. And once the truck gets tight here, you're pretty much fighting it the rest of the way. That's the one thing I'm going to say that will make you drop off pace, is once you get tight at this place, you can't hold the throttle, and right there is what's going to happen. He's going to just start eating the wall, and guys are just going to start running right by him.
Yeah, like you see Paul Witt there, and then
Dan Bailey.
Thank you. Zane getting by as well. So I was having to look down at my at the page. Sorry about that. So yeah, good battle, good tussle.
See, now
here
you
for
see
second
Paul
position.
made the slip right there, So
exactly. Turn three so tricky to get into. Like I said, if you can't plant that nose, caution is out. If you can't plant that nose right, it's going to be, oh man, there's some chaos back here, a little bit further back.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Colt Blaze, man, we were just talking about him. He was back there around 10th. Let's see, and he put the Mountain Dew man into the wall.
Looks like a couple of guys get together here coming out of turn.
A little bit further.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah,
there's a stack up here.
Yeah. He's on the inside. One gets the wall, and then they just tried to avoid that, and nowhere to go. Wow.
Yep. Yeah, we taking the words out of each other's mouths, trying to at least.
Yeah, and that's that tightness. We're already seeing the trucks kind of, for what I'm seeing, and I'm not inside of it, but what I'm seeing is a little bit loose coming in that turn, but definitely getting tight coming out. About the only way that you can fix that problem as a driver is back the turn up. Let off the gas a lot sooner and let her coast in there, and then get back on the gas slowly, a lot more easier, coming off instead of trying to stab it. Let the front end, I go back to referencing road racing a lot there, Will. I tell you, you want that front end straight as possible coming coming out the turn before you get back on the throttle. So we're lapping 18 here, pit stop, so a little bit earlier than normal, but I'm gonna tell you, this right here now, what we were talking about earlier with the aggressive drivers, this falls in the hands of aggressive drivers. If you get a caution at every lap 20, let's hope not, but let's say you do, hey, if you're an aggressive driver and you're up front, guess what? Hey, if you're conservative in the back, you better step it up, because you're never catching them. Because right here, you're going to get those tires. Now, only 3 sets though. So that brings up that question. And we do see some guys taking 2 tires. Some taking the 4 tires. Michael G took 4, it looks like. Raymond took 4. Paul took 4. But McCullen and Bailey, they had a 7-8 seconds, so it looks like they might have just took 2 tires. or just fuel only.
And with the way that
Dale Rapp and Anthony Lane there, they had a 7-8 seconds. So pretty much everybody else took 4. A couple guys a little slower time, maybe opting to say okay. We all don't know. I don't know.
Another thing that you just pointed out is if you have cautions fall periodically in certain timetables, so to speak, you can maybe only have to theoretically maybe pit twice if they do so, but I'm still thinking maybe 3 times for pit stops here at the moment. But if they can get cautions to fall right, as far as fuel mathematically wise, I'm thinking maybe they won't only have to stop twice, but that's just my my mathematical brain trying to work overtime, I guess you could say.
Sometimes I try to do that and I miss it by a mile, or a caution comes out and just throws everything out the door.
I sometimes miss it by a country mile.
Yeah.
I'm like,
but
do you want me as your crew chief or do you not? Like, I don't, sometimes I never even wanted my own math for my crew chiefness, right?
Well, I'm curious on this, the pit stops up here with Bailey and McCullough. We talk about tires, how I go back to Auto Club, because Auto Club really, you would, in a nutshell, you would think, hey, look, you get new tires, your 18-lap new tires over older tires, they should be way, way faster. Doesn't always translate to that. Yes, they will be faster. They always will be. But if we're only talking about a tenth, maybe 2/10 faster, that's not still enough to come blowing through the field. I'm talking about we need seconds, half seconds, 3/4 of a second. We need that kind of speed off of those tires that come through the field. So I'm curious to see what this pit strategy up front, how it's going to hold up to, let's say, Michael's there and Raymond and Witt, who are sitting on a lot newer. I mean, this kind of will tell us the tale here. Is track position going to be king, or maybe later we talk about that caution maybe coming out late, mixing it up to see. The lights off on the pace truck. Back green here. Got pretty good field going on tonight, though. Thomas doing pretty good right there in 7th. Witt, unfortunately, fell back on his pit stop. He's back here in 5th. I like Charlotte. Nice track. It's Corey up there. He'll keep him busy up here tonight, too. I mean, who your favorite driver is out there, by the way. Got a favorite driver? If you don't have a favorite driver, I mean, maybe just pick one, or driver that you don't like, let us know. That would be nice. I stay kind of neutral on the subject. All right, pace truck's in. Bailey and company up front. Going back green under the lights here at Charlotte. Green flag, and yeah, you saw him spin the tires just a little bit. That's something you got to watch out for in the older set. And I think, man, Michael and him's just going to eat them up front.
And for any 1.5 miles, I'd have to say Charlotte, Atlanta would have to be the 2.5 miles where you're going to see a lot of tire spin. Doesn't matter if it's old tires, fresh tires, heat cycled tires, wet tires. That doesn't matter tires. So you're going to see tire spin.
Yeah. Right now, you can just see the 3 guys that took the new tires. They're just blazing to the front. Still, though, it takes a little bit to get around, a couple laps. So that brings up the question of, hey, look, if I stayed out and stayed up front, and let's say the first guy on new tires is, 7-8 spots back, and we only got 5 laps to go, yeah, you might still want to take that track position over the tires. Let's see how that plays out later on. Meanwhile, Michael's still out front. He's got Paul Witt behind him. Aaron's there. Bailey's trying to hang on with Holiday. Multiple lines back here with McCullen. That's around about 6th, 7th place spot. They're all dicing it up back here. Good to see multi-grooves here, too. Yeah, normally, like I say, with Charlotte, it would be more of a low, middle-style groove. You'd come in kind of diamond the turn, let it roll off the turn. But here, you're able to see, you know, they're kind of using the inside, outside there a little bit.
With 3 and 4 was to try to diamond 3 and 4 and maybe take 1 and 2 maybe middle to low lane. I didn't really like wrapping the high side of 1 and 2 too much, but that was just 1 and 2's personal preference, really. But like you said, I really agree with you on backing up turn 3 as much as possible to be able to, you know, just have the best centering corner speed and that drive off of turn 4. I always told everybody, it doesn't matter what track, what corner, you know, what car, you want to be as straight as possible coming off these corners. Just like what you said a while ago, I could not express or emphasize that enough to anybody I ever practiced with or ran laps with at any track. You know, they would kind of almost be in awe at sometimes how stable or how straight I would try to be coming off the corners. And I said, hey, it helps with tire wear. I feel like it helps with the car's balance. So
you banging for the lead up here.
Yeah, the 3 trucks that have pulled away.
Yes, they are. That's top 3.
Yeah, he's just sitting there watching that at the moment.
I don't blame you. Don't want to get caught up in a mess there, but yeah, definitely just sit back, see what these guys got, let them use their stuff up. Why not? Yeah, that plays into it too. That's that patience factor. I mean, he knows he's got a fast truck. Got tight right there. And I said, yeah, he got tight in the middle coming off and went up. We saw Raymond do that again, and unfortunately, he's going to have to correct that. That's just getting back into the gas too soon or too hard. And the only way to correct it is, like I say, McKee's into that gas, get back into it, man, a little bit later, not as soon. If not, he's going to constantly burn those tires up. Hey, you know, Will, you feel like Superman on new tires.
And especially staying in on somebody's door.
Yes.
Up the track into them like you almost just saw. So he had to back out the throttle, like you said. You know, you got to work the pedals so you don't wash up into the guy. You're battling.
You're right there beside of him, and you know you get that kind of a snap loose feeling, and then you instantly want to kind of correct it, and you pull the wheel just a little bit. When you pull the wheel, it instantly can actually make the truck actually a little tight, and you kind of overcorrect and make it tight. Next thing you know, 1 or 2 things can happen. You either go up into the guy in front of you, or you can snap her on loose and then spin it out. You know, so it's a fine line when you're battling somebody like that. And right here, he's going to ride man on his tailgate here for a little bit, see what he can come up with. I mean, it's frustrating as a driver to be that close and go, you know, I feel like I'm fast. This is one of these tracks where you're like, you know what, I'm fast enough to pass that guy in front. But it fools you a lot of times. Once you get side by side with him, it goes, wrong.
Yeah, it truly does. You know, you get that side draft and you can kind of pull him, you know, pull that other car back or truck back, and then he can kind of pinch over and do that to you. So you're in a forever stall out, so to speak. So
yeah, you see Whit right here. I mean, he's like, I got the momentum. I'm gonna make this pass, and then the truck just kind of stops when it gets side by side, and you're like, well, what just happened? I had all this momentum. I was fast while I was riding behind him. It's just this track. It loves doing that to you. I mean, but still, he can hold it down there. The problem with holding it down there, too, though, in the bottom, tearing those tires up. So he doesn't want to stay too long down there. And as you see, I mean, just can't make that pass. Right now, it looks like the middle higher groove is the place to be. Usually not like that at Charlotte. Charlotte used to be more, like I say, you know, lower going in, kind of coming out higher. Now, look at them. They're more for the middle higher groove and hold on to it. See what they're doing back here around the 8th place spot. A good battle here. That's Swalford. Colt Blaze battling back. Remember, he was the one that just spun. Get caught up in that wreck. They have one fast pick, so he's able to use that. Get back up here. Up to 9th, so able to bounce back. Not bad. Not bad bounce back. Gonna ride back right there behind old Jeff Gilmore.
Yeah, you're almost starting to see them all get spread out now. So we still have a couple of battles here and there. There's a good 4-truck battle coming up right here.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you see after a while. You get these green flag runs, and then you start seeing these little kind of little cluster style battles. Like you said, they get spread out throughout the field, and then you see right there they get kind of strung out. But then right in front of them you see Allen, and that's Thomas Lane. They had a little battle. Now they'll get, you know, singled out for maybe a couple of laps or so. Then they'll go back to battling again. You got, you know, cool the tires down, get relaxed. Colt Blaze, though, he pitted on lap 19. He took 4 tires. He's on the move. Now, time will tell whether or not he's using those tires up or not, trying to get back to the front. It's easy to do on new tires at a track like this. That battle right there with Thomas for 5th.
I'll tell you, this has been some great racing so far.
Oh yeah, loving it. This whole entire field. Right here's some good one. There's an 8th, 9th, and 10th place spot. Kind of calmed down for the top leaders up there. Michael's still out front with Witt there in 2nd, Raymond in 3rd. Throughout the field, you kind of, like you said earlier, kind of see some of these little battles going on kind of straight away, and they would calm down up front. Witt kind of looked to the inside. Gonna try it again, but I just don't know. Unless Michael, man, slips up there, he's gonna find a hard time trying to get him on that inside.
Yeah, so you still have the 3-truck breakaway that's leading by just over a 1.5 seconds, you might as well say, over 4th place man, John Holiday. Yep, Doc Holiday there. So
he needs that on his truck.
I bet you if he was to go back and hear my voice, he might think he heard a ghost. But anyway, so I love that color. That's a nice orange.
This one, it kind of stands out with that gray down the bottom of it. Man, sheen on the side of it too there. So kind of just riding his own little race here. Nobody in front of him, kind of nobody behind him. Battle power for the lead again. Witt's trying, but I just feel like every time he goes down on that inside, I don't think he need, you know, unless he can just make that pass clean, it's going to be a hard one here, as you can see. So it kind of tells us how the tire kind of fall off is here on this track here tonight so far.
Yeah, Michael Allen and Noah back there, 8th and 9th, they're swapping positions almost every lap because they're side by side back here. So, and then you have the 16 of Dylan Wiebers.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's Wilbers. My bad.
Yeah,
I didn't see the L in there. So
he's going to see if he can't. He's just watching his battle in front of him there.
Yeah, Jeff Gilmore has driven away from this kind of fray. He's that yellow and blue truck right ahead of this, if I'm not mistaken. So he's trying to drive away.
Yeah, he's like, I want to get out of Dodge. To get away from these guys right now. There's somebody here in the back. Don Bawalda. Back here in the 12th, you got Robert Morrell. Got the grave digger machine. Brandon McCullen there along with him. Still that man right there leading, though. and he's got that thing on rails, and looks like Paul, and this right here, I mean, he's getting some distance between him and Paul. That's pretty much a case of Paul just probably been a little bit more aggressive and used those tires up, and definitely Raymond, remember earlier? He was getting awful tight. I think he's burnt them tires up now, and old Holiday's been able to run him down. But we should be having pit stops soon.
Zane Bailey and Dell Rapp, if I'm not mistaken, I think Dell just pitted, and so did Zane.
Yeah, we're coming up on 20 laps, so you can put out another, let's what, 8 or 9 laps, give or take. Because they all pitted at lap 19.
Dale is 2 laps down, and Zane is 1 lap down, respectfully. So we have 2 trucks, 1 or more laps down. Dale, don't know why the case is for him to be 2 laps down, but...
Yeah, his pit stop was good. He had a 15-second pit stop, so nothing unordinary there. Unless that's just pretty much a green flag stop, and that's going to go 2 laps down on a green flag stop. But right there, too, tells you how much faster newer tires.
My apologies, Joe.
What's that?
I believe he was a lap down before his pit stop, and he just went another lap down coming out of the pits, I do believe. So, yeah, it's like I said, not 100% sure why Dell is 2 laps down, but he should be able to at least gain some speed back at the moment with fresh tires.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he'll get one of them back here. Maybe get that lucky dog, get back on the lead lap later on if there's a caution that flies. We should start seeing pit stops here pretty soon. I'll say within the next 5, 6, 7 laps. Give or take one here or there. As a couple of them coming in. Raymond, first one up front, and pretty much right there tells you he had burned some tires up. Now, he took 4 tires last time. Be interesting to see what he takes this time. If that truck's got tight, he can take the 2-tire stop here, loosen it up. Although I don't think it gives you a huge advantage at a track like this still, because he's going to be so far back trying to catch up.
Yeah, if anything, that's going to hurt speed-wise, because you're not really going to be able to carry or get
he took 4.
Get top speed or get faster speeds like everybody else that's coming in, getting 4 tires instead of just taking 2. You're going to be out there at a bit of a disadvantage as well. So,
well, almost like Zane Bailey, they took the 2-tire stop earlier. You know what? Dale Rapp took 2 tires. That's why he went a lap down. That's why he had to pit then. I think that's why, because Bailey went the laps down too. They were the ones that took 2 tires early. Remember, you only have 3 sets, so right now Raymond's sitting only 1 set of tires, with probably everything goes like green flag, let's say, cross our fingers. Should be 1 more pit stop, but then again, a caution. So, we know everybody's got to pit at least once. 1 more time. The top right now 5 have yet to pit. Colt Blaze, Thomas Lane, Mike Allen, Campbell, and Robert. Everybody else on pit road, and everybody took 4 tires that came in, by the way. So,
yeah, and we're banking on everybody, like you said. I do agree with you. We are banking on at least everybody putting 1 more time.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody can make it 50 laps.
Oh, no. Raymond with the fastest lap time at the moment with the 29.75, but there definitely are others that are just a hair off of that, sure. It's not a full 10th, that's why I say a hair.
So what can mess up this strategy here of what Raymond's doing is a caution late in the game. If he keeps doing what he's doing, it could put him in a good position and far enough ahead, because he's 1.9 seconds right now, And we talked about, what it takes to run down a guy, time-wise, and this track here is more momentum-based, and how many laps it does take, and even catching, you got to pass him. So later on, everybody still has to make one more pit stop. He pitted at lap 47, so that's going to put him around 57, 67, let's say at least lap 75.
I'll tell you. Raymond and Paul are basically putting down lap for lap times here.
Oh, yeah.
But
Raymond had
Paul
an
is
89.
slightly
Michael
catching.
had the top two, check this out, had an 89, 89, 83. That's the top three. Nobody is going to go blowing by either one of them at that kind. I mean, even with this right here, 03, 95, 99. And that's what I was talking about right there. I've watched enough, and everybody, they always talk about, well, Joe, how you watch enough, you understand what time, the times, how much time it takes to just say, you catch a guy and just pass him clean without even having to just worry about just pass. It takes, at the bare minimum, well over a tenth of a second faster than that guy. Probably 1.2 to 15th, 1.5 of a tenth. To just go right by him, okay? Anything under a tenth, yes, you eventually will probably pass him, but it's going to take you a lap or two. On some tracks, it might take you longer to get around. So that's what I'm saying right now. You look at these top guys, where you see Raymond just ran a 12, G ran a 06 to 04. Yes, the two guys behind him will catch him, but they still won't just go blowing right by him. And he still has a 1.5 second lead. Let's say here, Will, this was 20 laps to go. Michael G and them will not catch him before the end of this race at only having a tenth or 500ths quicker. That's another thing you got to look at. So the pit strategy might play in the favor here on Raymond's part later on if it goes green.
I mean, it could. It really well could. The short pitting could be the key to the race here this evening, especially like how I said earlier, how the caution fell earlier and just how the race has been unfolding. Maybe it is the right thing, especially with 60% fuel, to throw in to that monkey wrench, so to speak, to when you have to strategize when you want to maybe short pit or when you could break the race up to when the strategy may play into that hand that you're dealt, right?
Yeah. Now, obviously, I've always talked a lot here, and guess what happens? The caution comes out late and throws everything we say out the window. It's a whole different race and a whole different ball game. I'm talking as if this thing goes green from this point on, and just from looking at the numbers, again, Raymond could get out there and mess up, hit the wall, fall off the pace drastically, and those guys run him right down and no big deal. It's still a 1.4 second gap, and it's already been since, we're on lap, 56?
58, coming to 59.
So we've already went 10 laps in to their pit stop, and they've only gained 2/10 on him. Like I said, I go back to that. If it's 20 laps to go, and he's got almost a 2-second lead, a caution definitely would not be Raymond's. He definitely wouldn't want a caution.
I've been looking at the lap times, and the leader has not been running the fastest lap time the last handful of laps, but he's been running consistent enough to mine that gap. To keep it 1.2 to 1.4. It has been fluctuating down, but then it wants to fluctuate back up. So it's almost as if, like I talked about earlier, things have equaled out at the moment, but slowly, Michael is reeling in Raymond.
Yeah, and he will. I mean, I go back to they're going to be faster no matter what. But they're just not going to be fast enough. Now, one thing right here Raymond is messing up on is he needs to just let that lap truck go. Don't battle with it. He would love to see Paul and Michael back there battle because that would help him out even more. Again, we still got a pit stop. When Raymond takes that, and does Michael and Paul go, you know what? He's short pitted us. Do we short pit him? I mean, this is what Raymond wants to see. He wants to see Whit back here harass old Michael a little bit. That'll slow him down. In theory, it'll slow him down. I've seen wilder stuff on iRacing. Good battle here for second. Michael's back up on that top side. Paul's right back on that bottom. The one thing I will say about Raymond is he might be running that truck a little bit too hard at the beginning because he is falling off the pace later on as the run goes on, which means he's using a lot more of the tires, and that thing is just getting awful tight as the run goes on. You got Cole back here. Cole 8 seconds back, 7 seconds back here from third place and fourth, with Gilmore behind him. Dylan Wilbur's right there with him. Holiday, Walford, those guys right there battling it out. That's about an 8th, 9th, 10th place spot.
Yeah,
about another 10
seventh,
more laps. What do you think, Will, with these pit stops?
7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Yes, sir. I do suspect that at least in about anywhere from, well, you got to pit at least about lap 72 to be able to make it home, I do believe. So we should see pit stops maybe. Yeah, you got to, like I said, at least 72, you should be able to make it home, right? So that's when we should see them start. And they might even start a little bit sooner. You know.
Right now, still like, a 0.8 second gap between the third place man there. Even Witt still working over second place man of Michael. Still trying to go at it. Maybe Paul thinks that, hey, look, you know, I'm a little fast. Go back to that. This track kind of tricky. I mean, I'm with you on that though. I think if I'm up front and whatnot, I'm at least wanting to go to lap 75. I'm gonna try to at least go to 75 if I can, because that puts a little cushion too, just in case there's a green-white checker. Because even with the green-white checkered, here's something else to think about. You don't have any tires, so why would you want to pit? Especially if you're up front. Remember, you only got 3 sets. Raymond and these guys up front, once they come in and use that last set, that's it. If a green-white checker falls, you're not going to give up the lead. Now, somebody like Zane Bailey, who earlier, or Dale Rapp, where Bailey is sitting right here in 8th, as you see Witt's able to take over 2nd place right there. We'll see if he runs down Raymond a little bit. But Bailey, who was right here in 8th place spot here, Will, remember early on in the race, he only took that one, he didn't take a set. So he has one in his pocket right here, even after this one. Interesting. He also pitted at lap 42, so he's going to be close to that mark of trying to get it to at least, what do we say, lap 72?
Yes, sir, because that would be 28 laps to go, would be 72 to go, or 72 complete would be 28 to go, so.
Well, he'd have to push that thing 30 laps, I don't know if he could do that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's going to be tight, it's going to be tough, so.
Ow. Let's see, so we'll get to keep an eye on that. Might have just maybe missed that mark on that one here. Now, Paul He got around on Michael. Not been able to make that much headway. His last lap was a 78 to 71. 89 up front. So this tells you how much fall off those tires have later on in the run. And if, again, we go back to if anything happens with about 20 to go, if you can get that lead out front. And Zane Bailey, by the way, on pit road right now. Well, it is lap 7. You know what? He did. He made it 30 laps. Okay, that really. Now
you were wondering at the top of the show, who can make it 30? You got your answer.
Yeah. A lot of times the guys might say, and it's always an estimate, we can go 28 laps. I'm always thinking, okay, there's got to be a guy out here who can push this thing a little bit more. Who's going to do it? Who's going to be the guy that's going to do it? Dale Rapp is the other one who pitted at lap 42. Dale Rapp is still running out here. Well, Raymond's on pit road, so he's doing that short pit again, which I don't blame him. But Michael G says, you know what, not this time. I'm coming in with you. It's a smart move by Michael. Leaves Paul out there this time around because I think Michael realized that, hey, look, we weren't catching Raymond at all when he got that big lead, and we're just going to run out of time if we keep trying to do what we're doing, so we have to do something else. Dale Rapp on pit road. Dale actually went 32 laps. Wow. Okay. All's on pit road.
I guess you could say 28 to 32 laps was the guesstimated fuel mileage today.
Now, smart move by Michael right here because he's going to be able to get up here with Raymond. And when everybody does cycle around for their pit stops, he's not going to lose as much ground. I mean, he's going to be about 2 seconds back, but he's going to be on the same equal set of tires. He's almost going to have to use them. The big one's going to be here with Paul, who is sitting on pit road right now, getting his 4 tires. And as you see, Raymond and him will go by him. How much further, I'm curious how much further out Raymond's going to be. As you see, there goes Raymond. It's out. Yeah, you know what? I think he's going to be far enough. I think that short pit, as long as nothing wild happens here, I don't know, man. Raymond might have this pit strategy down. Going to have a massive lead here. Got a 2.3 over Michael. He's going to have a 3.8, almost 4 second over Paul. Well, Will, that's going to be a big lead. And when everything cycles around, obviously right now Gilmore is the man out front. Amaral, he's right there sitting in third. McCullen's on pit road. Bawalder's on pit road. There are only 2 guys left to pit. Barring a caution, this is it.
And with the way that this race has been playing out so far, spread out, we have a couple of F1 style battle packs, as I like to call it, here and there, but it's, everybody's pretty spread out for the most part.
Yeah, through the field here and see what we got. Got Colt, who's been able to bounce back up 8 spots. He's one of the hard chargers here tonight. Well, as of right now, it'd be Robert and Gilmore, but they have got to pit. They've yet to pit, so they'll cycle them back. But you see Swalford back there. He's up 9. Blaze up 8. Michael G, though, this is going to be the battle here. See, Raymond's able to go around. He's taking that spot away. Interesting, though, because Robert pitted. Well, he pitted at lap 51, so yeah, he could stretch it. I'm not quite sure why, unless they're just now a caution could play in their hands, or green white checker could play in their hands. Gilmore and them. Right now, I think this is the guy here, Will, who has played the pit strategy to a T so far.
And that's pretty much what we're looking at. And sometimes that's just the way it has to be done. To win motor races, you have to be on the pit strategy game. You have to be on point on all factors of it, of the race. You just not be the quickest, but you got to have the best strategy too. So.
Well, it takes a whole package. I mean, you've got to look at it, as being to win a race. And a lot of people say, well, hey, look, I just need the fastest car, give it to me. And not necessarily, because we've seen races won and lost on pit road, even in real racing. So you've got to be able to have those pit strategy, pit stops. You've got to be able to get up there and obviously perform on the track. But it's tough when you have a track like this where no matter what your skill level is, you're kind of bound by it. It's still a momentum position style track. It really is. Drivers sometimes are like, man, we just want to get back to the old school days of where we actually could drive the car. The trucks and the cars nowadays are so aero dependent. What is it? Some of the drivers say about the new Cup car? You pretty much are just in there, turning left sometimes. You're really not driving them much anymore like they used to.
Oh yeah, exactly. And you really have to. This Charlotte is very momentum based, just like you talked about. It's probably one of the biggest momentum based mile and a half besides Kentucky, Nashville. Even though Nashville isn't really a mile and a half, it's a mile and a third track, but it still falls in that cookie cutter category. Man, say that 10 times fast, I guess. But it's amazing how many racetracks. I mean, pretty much almost every racetrack is momentum based, but there is so many that we talked about earlier. You can be good for a few laps, but then after that you just plateau and you can't find that same speed to carry on throughout the entire run that you need. And this is one of those tracks where it's easy to do that, to where I'm quick for a few laps, so I can put down a heck of a pole lap to qualify at the top of the field. But do I actually have that long run speed? Sometimes I don't. So
takes me back to what I was talking about earlier about that being aggressive and being conservative. If you're too conservative, you're going to fall off the place too far back, and you're not going to be able to catch up. And we saw that earlier. I mean, a perfect example of what we're seeing right here. I mean, Paul Witt has the newer tires. He has. By the last lap, he ran a 53. To an 82 and a 64. Now, he is doing well here on Michael G's part, being able to run him down because he is a couple tenths faster. And Michael G, I'm not sure if he just got around some lap traffic or what, or he's really struggling that bad. But we see 3.3 seconds is what Witt has to catch Raymond. Let me just say this, with 14 laps to go, you do the math. If it stays green this entire way, and barring that Raymond does not make some huge wild mistake and stays doing what he's doing, Witt just will not have enough time to run him down, because I think those tires are just going to equal out. I mean, even though he is that much faster, he needs half a second times to run him down.
Yeah, exactly. And even though,
like that last time right there, he was only 1.4 tenths faster and still 3.09 off, 3.09 off over the 3 seconds back. Now he needs some time. He needs Raymond to make a mistake, big mistake. But it's been a good one so far tonight. Charlotte under the lights here. Got Raymond out front, Witt there. Michael G sitting in third. Colt Blaze, who's amazing. I'll tell you what, there, Will. Remember, he slapped the wall hard early in the race. Up 11 spots, though, been able to bounce back. 2 behind him there hit the wall a little bit. That was Anthony Lane.
Yep. And so we're closing in on 10 laps to go to here.
It's a solid race tonight here too, Charlotte. Typical style, race. Like we talked about, the momentum, pit strategies coming to play. We've seen some, unfortunately, a few trucks been hitting the wall hard. But all in all, some fast running here tonight. Fortunately, Thomas Lane on pit road says, I'm gonna call it a night there. Not sure what happened to him, but what's your take here? It's only down to 2.59 for Witt. His last lap was a 29 to 33. That tells you right there. I go back to he's going to need half seconds to run him down here now. And
with the last lap time basically being not even a full 10th off of the race leader's lap time, you almost have to say Paul Witt is in the boat he's in, unless a caution comes out here with under 10 laps remaining, 8 to go. Unless something happens, I don't really see Paul driving 2 1/4 down so quickly, but things can happen. Anything's quite possible.
I mean, now, you throw that up. Obviously, caution man fly here. We never know. I mean, the way the track's going, it's going pretty good. But now, Raymond definitely doesn't want to see a caution.
No,
Paul would be like,
no.
yes, give me one. I need to see it. But it also would bring up the other question. Zane Bailey sits back here in 5th. From my understanding, he would still have one set of tires. But if we had a caution now, it's going to throw us in green-white checkered territory. Do you come into pits and give up 5th place? Because he'd be back around 12th if he did. And to me, even with the newer tires on this track, maybe a short track is up, maybe different. But on this track, I just don't think it would pay dividends. So go back between Paul and Raymond. Got a good battle here between looks like that's number 16 there of Wilbers and Bailey. That's actually for position of 5th. So we go back to Witt there and Raymond there, Will, and if a caution does fly, they are kind of on equal tires, old tires that is. It goes to the leader's advantage.
Almost have to think Paul has really cut down about, I don't know, what would you say, about 0.8 of a second, just about, almost, on the race leader. Not quite a full 0.8, but just about dang near it at one time. But it's 1.9, 1.8,
yep.
Fluctuating.
Yep.
He picked up a good few tenths there for a moment. But yeah, it's been a great race all in all. This has been a heck of a truck race here at Charlotte. Lots of strategy
race.
Oh, yeah. You really had to think about it after that first caution fell early on.
Absolutely. Well, you got, man, we're seeing Raymond out front here. Witt's right there behind him. Then you got Michael G., who has fallen off the pace, unfortunately, back here in 3rd. Colt Blaze has been the man that's just blazing it up here tonight. Got caught in a huge wreck early on, but has been able to get back on the lead lap, get back up to 4th. So what a heck of a bounce back. He's a hard charger up 11 spots. Zane Bailey, other one right there, has done really well. It's a 2-tire stop early on there, Will, and he's back up to 5th. And Dylan Wilbur has been harassing him the last couple laps right there in 6th. And got Jeff Gilmore back here in 7th. And we're talking about John Holiday, old Doc. He's hanging strong there in 8th. Mike Allen up in the 9th. Dale Rapp, the other one, I think he was able to get back on the lead lap here a little bit, but he's back up to 10. John Bawalda in 11th. Anthony Lane there in 12th. Robert Amaro, he's up there in 13th. McCullen, he's in the 14th. Swalford hanging on 15th. Campbell back there in the 16th spot. Unfortunately, Thomas Lane out of this one with Chris Melton. That's the only 2 trucks that are out. But Raymond still with that big lead over Witt. Now it's grown even more. 2.2 because Paul Witt, unfortunately, has caught his lap trucks. And that's what he did not want to see.
And that has hurt him. That has brought the gap back up to 2.2 with a lap and a half, 2 remaining.
Yeah, but yeah. Huge one. So, one more time for this man right here. All he's got to do is hang on to it. Beautiful pit strategy all night long. Being able to do what he needed to do. He's in 3 and 4 for the final time here tonight's Blitz series here for the SRA gang. We're going to conclude Charlotte. Is that man there, Aaron Raymond, going to win it? Paul Witt coming home in second. Michael G there coming home in third here tonight. Ooh, that was a good solid race. I like that.
Well, Joe, I'd have to say real quick, thanks for having me again this weekend, and glad I was able to get home and help call this race.
Heck yeah, because, man, it was a thriller, man, with the pit strategy and everything that happened here.
Mm-hmm.
This man actually did what they needed to do. So we need Michael Witt. Can't find him.
Yeah, they put on one heck of a show for us.
Actually, I can't move anybody. They're going to have to jump up here anyways.
Force a habit. Old habits die hard.
I don't know why he still hasn't gave me the permissions here to move anybody. Thomas. Mm-hmm. Well, wait a minute. Give him a second here. Go to the results here. And this one for you folks. It was a good one. Got to give my hats off to all these guys out here tonight. That man right there, Aaron Raymond, winning it. Bit there in second. All the way back to the bottom here. 18 guys. Unfortunately, Chris Melton, Thomas Lane. Not finishing this one out here tonight, though. Nobody up here yet? Nope. Nobody up here. Thomas, if you can hear me, man, look. We're waiting for the top 3. Thomas fell asleep on me. All right, here we go. Bring on down Paul. You want to get a word with him?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's bring him down here.
Hey, Paul, you got a copy?
Yep, gotcha.
Man, terrific race. What more do you think you needed to run down Raymond there at the end?
I just needed to get some. If I could have got around Michael a little quicker, I might have been able to run him down. I was catching him there for a while, but I pitted one lap after Aaron did, and just so I could at least lead a lap to get a point. Now it's just point racing, from here on out. And, I know he hit the wall and that. And I was just trying to keep it clean. I don't want to over push it to get any instant points to lose points on them. So, yeah, I don't know what I could have done different, but it was a good race.
Yeah, we saw some good battle. Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Back again.
Yes. So you're cutting in and out.
Yeah, my apologies. Okay, I think that's better. Yeah, we saw a lot of great battling there this race. There for the front spots, Raymond and Michael up there battling. You 3 broke away, and really tell us here at Charlotte. We talked about this track being really momentum based. What do you got to do here to be consistently quick?
Well, one thing you got to do is you got to run a different line than the guy in front of you. Otherwise, you're going to get really, really tight. That's why a lot of the race, Michael was up high and I was running the bottom the whole time. Because if I ran up behind him, I was getting super tight. So I knew I had to run a different line than him. And it's just all a lot of throttle control, and you got to get back to the throttle pretty quick and not lose too much, coming off, so you can carry the momentum down the front and the back stretch.
Next week's season. next week's season finale race, what are you trying to maybe carry into that you can hopefully have some momentum or something be on your side, maybe going into that season finale?
Well, I'm pretty confident on the super speedways, so I think as long as I stay with Aaron, stay right around him, I should be able to pull off the championship. I know it's going to be really tight battle once the drop race hits in here. So, we'll just have to see what the points lie and see. I plan on being up front and running up front all night long and trying to stay out of trouble over there at Daytona.
Yes, sir. And any final thoughts or shout outs before we let you go?
I just want to give a shout out to you guys and everybody over here at SRA. Thomas and everybody does a great job, and got to give a shout out to the veterans and Admin Mox, and thank my wife for letting me come down here and have some fun.
Well, good to hear from you tonight, Paul, and congratulations on that P2. Best of luck to you next week.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
There you go, man. STP man there. Paul, like you said, pulling it off. Well, let's bring this guy up here with the pit strategy. Aaron, you in the booth, got a copy?
I do.
Well, you were able to pull off the pit strategy tonight, but at any point did you think, man, is it going to work? It looked like you're kind of getting tight out there as those runs was going on.
Yeah, it's just, you could run so many different lines, and it just, depending on how you ran those lines, depending on how your truck fell off there at the end of the run, it's just, I chose the line that was faster at the beginning and middle, and it paid off.
Hey, well, he was able to put in victory lane. Gonna send you into the final next week. Got a good battle with Paul. How you feeling about that?
Well, it's Daytona, so it's not really up to me. It's all about how everyone else races. So hopefully I get a good hand and I can get a decent finish.
Absolutely. You got to say, I mean, how was you feeling this track? Did you feel like it, was, with the tire fall off bad? Was you kind of feeling tight, loose? I mean, I knew how Charlotte has been, but they've changed so much over the years.
Yeah, it was weird. So the first couple laps you went out on track on cold tires, it was loose and it just got tight there. And then, like right at the end of the run, it would kind of go back neutral. So it was very interesting on how the truck handled.
Well, you was able to master tonight with pit strategy and out front, put it in victory lane. You got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank you for putting on the broadcast. You do a great job. I want to thank everyone behind the scenes who helps put on the league, and I got to thank my family.
There you go, Aaron Raymond doing what he had to do tonight. Will, man, it was a heck of a race. Charlotte here. I mean, we saw about everything you possibly see in this race.
Yeah, we saw strategy. We saw great battling. I really have to work on getting this fixed.
That's all right, look.
Yes,
technical
sir.
difficulties, I have them too.
But yes, sir. Great race, like you said. Great battles, great strategy. Pretty much everything you want in a Charlotte race, I do have to say myself.
Absolutely. Well, folks, I tell you what, man, it was a good one here for the Blitz series here tonight. The SRA, the Truck Series. For myself and everyone, y'all have a good night.